O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. The Whitetail Institute of North America, the gold standard for food plots. Realtree, camo hunting, fishing, and land management products. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. Works, power and garden tools. Fisher's Choice, the ideal solution to live bait. CVA, quality muzzleloader since 1971. QDMA, Quality Deer Management Association. Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs available. Furminator, the finest food plot implement on the market. And by O'Neill's new gun reel and marine oils, naturally the best.
Good morning, boys and girls, from Black Powder headquarters at Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia mountains. CVA presents Realtree Radio. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. Welcome, everyone. This is O'Neill, repeating myself over and over. I don't mind if you don't. From Black Powder headquarters in the Bojangles studio high in the mountains of North Georgia, this is O'Neill Outside, CVA, presenting Realtree Radio. We've got an unused Saturday morning to talk outdoors, and I encourage you to be with us this morning. No political conversations. We'll touch on a couple of things, but not much. Otherwise, it's outdoors. You, your family, the outdoors, hunting and fishing, camping, hiking, all those things that will set you aside for the weekend, and I hope you'll join us. This is O'Neill Outside, 95.5 SM and the SB Nation, coast to coast, Seattle to San Francisco, throughout Texas and the Midwest, Miami to Maine. So welcome us, if you will. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750, or outside the Atlanta calling area, it's 800-972-8255. It's my obligation and privilege to tell you that this program is brought to you every Saturday morning by Realtree, Tough Shed, Stripling's General Stores, the Whitetail Institute, Arctic Ice, going to use that this weekend, CVA, the Furminator, and Quality Deer Management Association. So welcome to the program, everyone. It's 7 minutes after the hour. We'll have a busy Saturday morning if you'll join us. We have a lot of things to do. In Georgia, the squirrel season begins this week, and we'll talk further about that. What a terrific opportunity that is to spend some time in the woods hunting squirrels. There's plenty of them. We'll talk about why buy archery from a local spot, the website questions, radio prize package. We'll have a call from the Snake Master. We'll have the Medal of Honor tribute podcast, how to improve your accuracy, and we'll have some things about Walmart and the fact that they've taken the hunting videos off the shelf. It's so sad, isn't it? This is O'Neill. Short break coming up, and we'll get started with Realtree Radio, I promise. Welcome back. 12 minutes after the hour, you're listening to Realtree Radio. This time of the year, it's the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the world, and you made it that way, and we're awfully proud. Let's start the show off this morning with a call. We expect a lot of calls. I've been out of town for a couple of weeks, so let's get started with, I think we have a call here from Wade, and I believe Wade is calling from West Virginia. Good morning, Wade. How are you, sir?
Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Oh, Bowling Green. Oh, hell, there are you. Kentucky today. Wade in Kentucky. Well, what do you say?
I've been down there right in your neck of the woods for about 60 days.
Wonderful.
Just got back up here Tuesday. Get acclimated to the weather. Goodness gracious, it's hot.
Yeah. Well, it's summertime. We shouldn't expect anything less.
August in Georgia is a hot one.
You betcha. Gail and I live in the mountains of North Georgia at about 2,600 feet. And the difference in temperature from Atlanta to here is usually about 12 degrees.
I I've been right down the road from you down there at Billy's Lake fishing.
Oh, good for you. How'd you do?
Crappy. You know what color?
Oh, yeah.
And a couple of them big bass, 5.5, 6, nothing bigger than that. They're stunning.
boy.
There's too many of them in there.
Yeah, that happens. People don't understand. They have to manage their ponds, don't they?
You got to take them out there. 2.5 pounds, eat them.
Yes, sir.
Five or better, let them go.
You betcha. You betcha. Well, I'm glad you had a good visit, and good to hear from you this morning.
Head to Carabel next week.
Oh, my goodness. Good for you. You know what happens in Carabel? They say, let's see, nothing really ever happens in Carabel.
But the fishing.
Yeah, boy, the fishing's good in Carabel. Yes,
His
indeed.
I called his daddy every morning to aggravate him about, we both early morning riders.
Uh-huh.
I called it about 5:45 of the morning, making sure he wasn't sleeping.
There you go.
And the guy at the bait store answered.
Oh, well, that's good. That's
He said,
good.
"Do you know these folks?" I'm like, "Yeah, you either got Kyle's phone or Leonard's phone. Their numbers are one different off. The last number's 4 or 5." He said, "Well, just let them know that they left their phone here at the bait store when they got bait a while ago." I said, "How many of them in the crowd?"
There you
about
go.
8 of them, so I guess they got both boats out.
Well, that's good. Well, you're an early riser, as most of us are in the outdoors. And so what's the next stop for you besides Carabel? You got a trip, so you got a lot of trips planned?
I'm coming through there just for a day. It's 5.5 hours to Buford and 5.5 hours to Carabel, so we'll make that 11-hour trip up into. Probably stay with Roger for a day, hang out with him by the pool, and then going down to Carabel.
Well, Carabel is old Florida, isn't it?
Yeah, Port St. Joe and Carabel are just about like Buford and Sugar Hill.
That's right. That's old
You throw a rock
Florida.
on one side of the road, it's in Buford. You throw it on the other side of the road, it's in Sugar Hill.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you called, sir. Be sure to let me know about your trip, how you do, the big ones that you caught, and what you did with them.
I put it back on hold on this so I can listen to you. I watched you on the podcast.
Okay.
But I'm about to make me some oatmeal and some bacon and coffee.
Good for you.
Put
I'll
me
put
on
you back.
hold, I can listen to you in the kitchen.
You bet. I'll do that right now. Thanks, pal. Thanks,
Give William
Wade.
Williams a big hug for me, y'all. Y'all enjoy your day down there. Glad to hear you.
You bet. See you later, pal. Glad you called. We'll put there. He's back on hold, I believe. I know how to work that thing from time to time after 28 years. 16 minutes after the hour. One of the things I was reading this week, it was from the pages of the Realtree.com website. That's a wonderful, wonderful website. A lot of very valuable information. And they were making some points about why you should purchase your archery gear from a local shop. And they made some awfully good points versus buying your gear online. And I'm not an archer. I don't sling arrows. These old shoulders won't stand that anymore after surgery on both shoulders. So I'm a muzzleloading guy, and I stick to that. But there's some very good points to be made about that, and I have them right here. Well, you can have access to premium brands at a local shop. You have if you haven't done so before, you have the opportunity to for some expert advice. There's a guy there that sells just premium gear. It's a free setup. You just don't buy it off the shelf. Say, oh, good, this is great. I'll take this. Goodbye. I'll see you later. A lot of information is necessary. The draw length, your own strength, a lot of information that you need to get on hand in person. Then, if your accuracy is not where it needs to be and you can't accomplish that, likelihood is you'll be able to go in for free advice. And, of course, the personal service makes the warranty much easier to handle if that's the case and you need it. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. I would like to get some calls today. Did I lose? I lost Wade. Doggone it. Wade, call back. We'll put you back on hold. I'd like to get some calls from Texas, Alabama, Mississippi. Those fellas out there, you know, I know that squirrel season begins here. Let's talk about that for a minute. What's so attractive about squirrel season? Well, I can tell you my experience at squirrel season, no matter what state, compared to deer season, deer season's a bore to me. You sit in the stand, you sit in the blind, you know, you do your scouting, you make the most of it, but quite frankly, you're just sitting there managing the wind, managing your firearm, your archery gear, and you just wait. It's moving target practice much more than it is getting in the woods and hunting. Squirrels? Now that's a different story. Season of 12 squirrels a day, maybe as high as 25 a day. You'll see plenty of them. You'll have lots and lots of shots. You get to move around. You don't have to be quiet. Squirrel season has quite a bit of attraction, especially for youngsters. And they're easy to clean, especially when they're fresh. Easy to cook. They taste good. And you'll have lots of shots, and spend some time in the woods with a beginner. I would tell you my recommendation that is that you would use a 410, and if it's a real youngster, especially not maybe a 15, 18-year-old, I like for my hunting partners that are young like that, I like for them to have single shot 410s. So that when the shot begins to take place, then you'll have to have a hammer click, and you'll have to reload one at a time. It's much safer. And again, as I said, you're going to see a lot of squirrels, and you'll have lots of shots, and is a technique and a hunting, if you will, hunting experience, and a good experience all the way along the line. The squirrel season. I know in Louisiana, it's kind of funny. In Louisiana, nobody goes to school, nobody works on opening day of squirrel season. I understand it. That's a very, very special day, and it should be anywhere and everywhere to get the kids out in the woods and get them started hunting. It's much, much more fun, much more activity, many more shots, and it's not a big animal. So you get to clean it, cook it, and eat it. This is O'Neill, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255, Realtree Radio. #1 outdoor-based live, outdoor-based radio show in the country, and we invite your participation in the program. WSB, pardon me, let me get this right, 95.5 WSB and the SB Nation. Nationwide. This is O'Neill. You stay right there. We'll have the website guest book mailbag when we return. Got a busy segment coming up on Realtree Radio, but first of all, let's chat with Craig. He's calling from Tai. Good morning, Craig. It's O'Neill. What do you say?
Welcome back, man.
Thanks a lot. We had a busy couple of weeks there.
Well, last week was a rerun, but old young man does a good job. We enjoy.
Oh, yes, he does. He's a good radio guy.
Uncle Milton called in the other day and aggravated him a little bit.
Oh,
all I wanted to know I just want to know where Gadabout was, and he won't never answer that. But anyway.
Yeah, that was one of the first shows ever, wasn't it? Gadabout Gaddis, the Flying Fisherman.
I've been listening for about 28 years now, so I reckon I can claim fame to that. But hey, you carried me back on your squirrel hunting. I still got my 410 Ithaca lever action single shot. My dad got me when I was 12 years old.
How about that?
But I called this. I know we don't do politics, but they brought guns into my hunt. I mean, they brought politics into my hunting. But about 40 years ago, I'd sat around hunting camp, and I'm 60. I turned 60 last week. Mm-hmm. And I'd tell my buddies, I'd say, y'all need to start voting, man. And, of course, back then, nobody worried about nothing. I said, there's going to be a day when you're going to regret that.
Yes.
And I think that day has come, because whereas they'll snatch hunting videos down, I guarantee you they hadn't snatched violent games off the shelf. So I'm going to say that and quit.
And I don't know that they have or not, but I don't know. Historically, I don't know if any of these perpetrators are hunting license holders.
I doubt it.
Me too.
I doubt it, but I know we can't delve into that much on this show, but by granny, when you bring it to me, I got to say something.
Absolutely. You can't avoid it. Me too.
Well, listen,
I would, thank you. I exercise my political discussions during the week with people from time to time, but I do not argue about it, because it's seldom that you can convince somebody otherwise if they've already dug in.
Old gentleman told me a long time ago, and he's a good man. He's passed on now. He was like a dad to me. He said, if somebody that don't know either one of you sees you out in the field arguing with a fool, they're going to look at there and say, look at them two fools arguing.
That's
so
exactly
I try to
right.
stay away from it as well, and I recommend that.
It's two
I'm going
at
to
a
sit
time.
back and enjoy this with another cup of coffee, my friend.
Mighty fine. Glad you called.
See ya.
Good luck to you. There you go. Now, all right, let's give away the radio prize package. What do you say? The rules are, radio prize package rules are, you have to be 18 years old. You cannot have won a prize package before. And here is the prize package itself. It's the first correct caller to 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. You get a $10 Bojangles gift card. You can eat some good biscuits. Swaggerty's Farm free voucher, so you can buy some Swaggerty's Farm sausage in the store. A White-tailed Institute DVD, How to Plant Food Plots. The Angler Magazine, a Realtree hat and window decal. Data Sport Fish and Game Forecasters. Some Fisher's Choice baits. A Thunder Chicken casting float from Mark Noble. Some Thorogood boot hat, Arctic Ice freezer pack. You'll use that for a long, long time. 2 packets of bug bands and a wristband, and a selection of True Turn tackle. And I've been gone for a couple of weeks. I hope I'm not repeating myself with this following question, but here we go. Ready? Couple of 3 weeks ago, O'Neill was in a department store and someone stole something from him. What was stolen from O'Neill during his visit to a local department store? We won't get into the story about what happened later, but what was it that was stolen from O'Neill? Okay, that's the radio prize package. You have the telephone numbers. Call in. You win the radio prize package, and we'll send it to you, and there's some valuable stuff in there. I got to tell you what, that ice pack, the Arctic ice packs, that's the real stuff now. Put that in the freezer, put it in the cooler, and then it keeps everything cold, it keeps everything fresh, and then again, you use it over and over again. There's no ice mess, there's no ice to buy. And that's a new spot over the last couple of quarters, and I'll tell you that I probably use that Arctic ice almost every single week. So, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Let's re-up the list here. Yeah, we've got some callers coming in there, and I'm sure the engineer at WSB will let us know which one to pick up. You might be interested in how this works, a little at least. Our studio, the Bojangles studio, is near Amicalola Falls State Park. It's on the side of a mountain up here. And the signal goes over the internet to WSB radio in Atlanta for some of you. And then it's relayed to Karen Green's office, Karen and Brian Green in Peachtree City, Georgia. Then it's in turn translated to the SB, the Sports Broadcast Nation in Texas, and then it's rebroadcast in a split second to stations all over the country. And it was engineered by Karen Green. And I will tell you again, which I've said over and over again, I don't have all that much to say, and that is we call her Houston. as in Houston, we have a problem. So there you go. All right. My goodness, everybody knows the answer to the question. And which one is it, Corey? Number one? Okay, good deal. All right. Philly? Billy. All right, let's go to Billy on line one. Billy, welcome to the program. This is O'Neill. It's 32 after the hour. And thank you for calling, sir. Where are you calling from, Billy?
I'm on my way home from work. I'm in,
Good for you.
On Camp Creek now.
Mighty fine. Got the rest of the weekend off?
Oh, yes.
Ah, mighty fine. Okay, let's get to it, and we'll set it aside. You'll win the radio prize package. What was it that was stolen from O'Neill a couple of weeks ago that, and I'll have further explanation about that. What did O'Neill have stolen?
Umbrella.
I sure did. Made me mad, too.
I know. I remember hearing about it.
Good. Well, good deal. Well, give us a couple of weeks to round up the radio prize package. I'll put you back on hold so we can get your info. I'll put that on hold right there. There's a little bit, let's see if I got time for this. Yes, I do. There's a little bit of explanation about the question for the radio prize package. It's not a trivia question. The only way that you will know the answer to the question every week, if you are a participant, is if you listen to the show. It's not a sports trivia. It's not who won the first football game or who was the most valuable player or where did somebody play or anything of that nature. The only way you'll know the answer to the question is to listen to the show. So, it's 33 after the hour. We want to get to some of these things. At the website, at O'Neill Outside, there's the website there. You'll see a mailbox, if you will, right on the home page. And if you will send your questions, your comments, your observations about the show, things you'd like to see done, questions about hunting and fishing that maybe I can answer for you or refer to or lead me down the right path, then I will answer those on the air. And once a week from those questions, those contributions there, once a week we'll give away, like you can't see it on radio, but you can on television, we'll give away an autographed copy of my book, which is called O'Neill Outside, People and Places Along the Way. But I'll tell you, this is not the great American novel. This is not John Steinbeck. It's not Ernest Hemingway. It's just O'Neill's observations about the outdoors, the people and places I've met along the way. And if you're a winner, then that's what you get. All right, it's 35 after the hour. I've got a couple of minutes to do this. Here's a note from Mark in Sebastian, Florida, and I'll answer his question, then we'll get to the other ones after the break. He said he's soon to be 65 and he wants to get back into hunting. Hadn't hunted in a long, long time. What to do? Well, what does he have to do? Well, he has to go through the state to get a hunting license and tags and permits and so forth. That's an easy part of the question. But he also says, what should he put in his backpack that he uses to go hunting? Well, the following answer might be a bit of a surprise to you. Safety items are what goes in that backpack because everybody's different. But you have a flashlight, a first aid kit, some bug spray, because you don't want, if you cut yourself, if you fall down, if you're bruised, whatever the case might be, you want to be able to accomplish the hunt. You want to complete the hunt. So it's safety items that can get you in the woods and get you out of the woods, a compass, a cell phone, those things that can keep the hunt from being a failure. Then the rest is up to you, whether it's a sandwich or a piece of sausage or a hot dog or whatever the case might be. But it's those safety things that can make that day in the woods successful. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255, nationwide. The SB Nation Radio Network and 95.5 FM WSB. Maybe I got that right. This is O'Neill. We'll be back. 40 minutes after the hour, you're listening to O'Neill Outside, Saturday mornings, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. And this time of the year, we're proud to call it CVA Presents Realtree Radio. Boy, you talk about some good partners. We've got them, especially in the fall of the year. I've been associated with CVA for 24 years and seen the CVA kits that were made now to rifle CVA muzzle-loading rifles, accurate to 300 yards, and we'll talk more about that. Right now, we're talking about the guest book at O'Neill Outside, and the if you send your questions and so on and comments, if we read them on the air and we pick out one, then we'll send you an autographed copy of O'Neill Outside's book, People and Places Along the Way. All right, here's one from Sheila Satterfield in Cleveland, Georgia. Love the show, loves to trout fish, especially on the Soquee River. Let me tell you something. If you can make your way to the Soquee River, I don't care where you live, in Black Hawk fly fishing, look them up on the internet, that very well may be the best mountain trout stream for rainbows and browns on the whole east coast of the United States. Black Hawk fly fishing. Sheila continues. She's the fan of the cooking segments, especially the recipes on the Big Green Egg. Thank you for choosing the wonderful state of Georgia to highlight its special features. And I'm complimented, and I thank you. And Georgia has been a part of the sponsorship and relationship with O'Neill Outside Television and Radio for over 20 years, or maybe even longer than that. So, and we're proud of that. That's Georgia State Parks and State Parks and Recreation, and of course the Department of Natural Resources. And we have guests from the Department of Natural Resources, wildlife resource biologist, law enforcement 4 times a year. All right, let's see what else here. This Brian Sanders from Westminster, South Carolina. He says he loves the show. He wants to see more shows from upstate South Carolina, deer hunting and catfishing at Santee. All right, in that regard, he says, I'd love to do both. He loves to see shows doing those. You can visit O'Neill Outside on the website. Pardon me. Visit O'Neill Outside at YouTube. And there are several very entertaining, I think, and productive fishing shows that we have done from Santee Cooper. Look it up at O'Neill Outside YouTube, and you'll see some fantastic catches with Captain Daryl Smith. Daryl has guided people from 15 foreign countries from all over the world, and I would tell you that in my judgment that Santee Cooper Lakes is probably the best catfishing in the world. I'll tell you, just a general day, an average day with Daryl Smith, Captain Daryl. He works out of Canal Lakes Fish Camp at Santee Cooper. In 4 hours, you'll catch 500 pounds. Right, yeah. 4 hours, you'll have 500 pounds of catfish. But once you fill up the cooler that you have, the fishing trip is over. He doesn't keep going. I know with me before, because we were doing a television show, I think we caught about 1,000 pounds. So it's the best fishing in the world. here's some relative size for you at Santee Cooper. I can only quote Georgia lakes. Lake Lanier's 37,000 acres. I think West Point's 19,000. Clark's Hill Lake is 70,000. Hartwell Lake is 55,000, and so on. Clark Hill Lake, Lake Marion, and Lake Moultrie, they're bigger than all those other lakes combined. It's 180,000 acres. At one spot on the biggest of those two lakes, it's 14 miles from shoreline to shoreline. So, Brian, I haven't been deer hunting in the Carolinas much of years, but Santee Cooper, you can watch those shows on YouTube. It's 45 minutes after the hour. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255, 95.5 WSB. I think I got it right. Okay. Bill Farber writes from St. Johnsville, New York. He listens on WEEI, the biggest, most powerful sports broadcast radio program or station in America, covering all of New England, and we're proud to have them the airing right now, live, O'Neill Outside. He said he likes to fish, but he doesn't do it often. He fishes from the bank. I have 2 bait casting and 2 spinning reels. I don't know anything about mono versus braided line. I want to know what kind of line and what pound I should use on my reels. You'll get more bites and catch more fish on light line than you will heavy line. But the heavier, the better, especially if the water is stained. The verses from mono versus braided line, I'm a mono guy. I know a lot of guys that the braided line really suits them perfectly. I can only tell you, Bill, try them both. Give it a try. Put braided on one, mono on another. Braided on a spinning reel and mono on a spinning reel. Try it out and see what you like. I would only make the recommendation that with the braided line that you learn to put on a leader, a mono leader, and tie the proper knots. Let's see, I'm in good shape time-wise. And tie the proper knots so that you can attach a mono leader to your braided line. And there's a multitude of websites that you can go to be able to tie the proper knot. What fits for you the best is what fits for you the best. I know several professional bass anglers that use 50-pound braid. I can't. I'm not good enough for that. I cannot manage a line that heavy. But, again, I'm not a professional fisherman. So, look it up. Look up about the knots, look up about braid, and use what fits you. Now, as far as your pond fishing goes, I would tell you that you're almost always better off with live bait. All right, let's talk now to, let's chat now to George. He's calling on line number 1. Good morning, George. It's O'Neill. Welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning to you. You doing all right today?
You betcha. Hadn't missed a meal yet, but I'm going to eat breakfast pretty soon.
Hey, I'm headed that way myself. Hey, you got a grandson that got married here lately, hadn't you, sir?
Yes, I did. Travis was married a couple of weeks ago in the state of Oklahoma. Yes, indeed.
Well, that's a good thing. Now you can get busy giving you some grandkids. They're the
There you
best
are.
anyway. If I could have had them first, I'd have sure done it.
That's right. Well, the only slight correction in that is that Travis is already a grandson.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. But
That's okay.
For me.
All right. What's going on with you today, sir?
Hey, I was at a local store that we all know
Uh-huh.
and found a 410 pump shotgun at a reasonable price. I do believe when Mama gives me my allowance money, I'm going to go get that thing.
I think you should.
Because I'm going to do some squirrel hunting, and I use my 22, but wife's a teacher, and I'm able to get to work with some of these kids in the school system.
Good
and
for you.
do a little mentoring. I'm gonna take them squirrel hunting and rabbit hunting, things like that. And hey, I got a question for you.
Okay,
I was
George.
reading the new DNR regs, and I read in there that certain areas, mainly in the Piedmont, that you got to quit hunting with a muzzleloader even during firearm seasons around the 1st of November. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I know the hunting regs are out, but with the travel schedule I've had over the last couple of weeks, I have not downloaded the regs, which are now available, and I will have to read about that.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised,
Yeah.
but if I'm hearing you, and I know you know what you're talking about, so I'll have to look that up.
Well, I'm just trying to verify it. I make sure I was reading it right. Maybe I need to get a little bit stronger glasses. But I mean, a firearm is a firearm to me. But maybe they got a different idea than we do. So.
George, one of the original intents of having a primitive weapons season was that you use a muzzleloader or archery gear and it expands the season.
Right.
But I'll have to investigate that because I'm sure my friends at CVA will be disappointed if that's the case.
Yeah. But it seems to be different in certain zones, areas,
Could
you
be.
know, and I enjoy using my muzzleloader any time of the year I get a chance to use it, you know. So.
Absolutely, me too.
But I'm gonna check into that a little more too.
Well, the regs are out now. I had it in my notes to mention that today, that the regs are out and you can download them. The Georgia season regs and rules and all are now available, and I'm going to do that today.
Yeah, I was told that, so I hadn't put my eyes on it yet. But
Okay.
I'd been told that, and I want to check into it myself.
Good idea.
All right. You have a good day, sir.
What are you doing this
Go ahead.
morning? Are you headed to work, home from work, or are you going to the woods?
No, I'm headed home from work.
Okay.
I work at night, and I'm headed home, and I'll listen to you about every Saturday morning that I'm working, which is about every Saturday morning, except for if I'm on vacation.
Well, you're very kind, and I do appreciate that.
All right, sir, and you have a good day.
You bet. Be safe. Good
All
luck.
right, thank you.
Good luck on that squirrel season too, and I appreciate you taking your time to take some children and get them into the woods.
Hey, it's my pleasure, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mighty fine. I'll see you soon, my friend.
All right, thank you, sir.
You bet. And there we go. There we are. Okay. 53 after the hour, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. This is O'Neill, and we have a busy morning, isn't it? We have some calls from Bob from Marietta, and we'll talk to Bob in a moment, but we got to take a break right now. This is O'Neill with CVA presents Real Tree Radio from the Bojangles studio high on the mountains in North Georgia. And that's one of the things I missed on the trip. Gail and I, we were in Pennsylvania, and I'll tell you about that one day. And then back through Georgia on Delta all the way to Oklahoma. You know, there are not any Bojangles in Oklahoma. Man, what a heartbreaker. But we also went to Washington, D.C. to see the sights, and I had some Bojangles on the way home. This is O'Neill. We'll be back. 57 after the hour. We had a busy 4 to 5 this morning and enjoyed very much. Let's talk to Bob, and then we'll close out the hour talking to Bob from Marietta, Georgia. Good morning, Bob. This is O'Neill. You're on the air.
Hey, O'Neill, thanks.
Hey.
Before I tell you about my father, can I give some accolades to WSB?
Uh-oh, I've lost Bob.
Hello?
Oh, there you are, Bob.
Okay.
I lost you there.
Okay, do you mind if I give some accolades to WSB?
Okay.
Okay, when you're mentioning your networks that you heard on, don't forget AM 750. they've been coordinated for almost 100 years. And without them, there would be no 95.5. Anyhow, we're talking about squirrels.
Yes.
My father, who died away recently at 97 years old,
Uh-huh.
when he was 8 years old, he got a Winchester 22 rifle for Christmas.
Okay.
He was so proud of that thing. He went out near the river. They lived near the Flint River. I killed a squirrel and brought it home to Mama, to his mother, and she fished fried squirrel for him for breakfast.
Good.
And I got that rifle now.
Wonderful. You need to keep that thing, too.
Oh, it's wonderful, the rifle.
Pass it along. Pass it along. Keep it in the family.
Well, I'm not a hunter. I couldn't get the Broad Center barn if I threw the rifle at it.
I understand.
But I
All right.
definitely am glad to have the rifle.
You betcha. Absolutely. You should take good care of it. Keep it clean. Make it last a long, long time. I got to
I
go
will,
right
thanks.
now, pal. Have a great
Bye,
weekend
bye.
here.
You say right.
You bet. See you later. This is O'Neill. A lot of calls hanging on. Stick with us through the break. This is O'Neill Outside. CVA presenting to you Real Tree Radio. We'll be back. Good morning, boys and girls from Black Powder headquarters at Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains. CVA presents Real Tree Radio. Welcome to a brand new unused Saturday morning. Another hour of outdoors headed your way. CVA presents Real Tree Radio. Welcome to the program, everyone. On 95.5 WSB and the SB Nation nationally. The number one live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country, 4 to 6 a.m. every Saturday morning, and we hope that you'll join us. No political discussions. We're talking outside, fishing, hunting, spending time with your children, camping, hiking, and learning about the fabulous interest in the outdoors. Excuse me. Well, that was tough. Okay, the sponsors for O'Neill Outside and Real Tree Radio is Real Tree, Tough Shed, Striplings, Whitetail Institute, Arctic Ice, CVA, the Furminator, and Quality Deer Management Association. It's 7 minutes after the hour, and we have a lot of calls coming up, and we want to get to every single one of them. Later in the hour, we will have the number one portion of the program, that being the Medal of Honor tribute. And it's very, very special and very lengthy today. The most decorated soldier of World War II. Excuse me. Well, pardon me. It must have been the coffee and what I put in it. Who knows? I drink it straight. But we have calls from Doug and Danny, and we'll get to every single one of them. I promise, and we'll get to do that. This is a great Saturday to talk about squirrel hunting. Why? Well, in Georgia at least, the squirrel season has begun. An excellent recommendation for you to spend some time in the woods. Use a 410, a break action, a hammer operated 410, and you'll have a lot of shots and a lot of action, and it's not silent. It is when you're deer hunting. And I say that a lot. Deer hunting can be a bore if you make it that way. Drive to the deer stand, get out, get in the tower stand, and sit there. That's hardly my idea of hunting. But we'll talk about that later. We have squirrel hunting coming up. More from O'Neill Outside and Real Tree Radio when we return. Everyone, 12 minutes after the hour, sideline here for the fellows who hunt and fish or fish here in Georgia. If you visit the DNR website, you can get the stocking report for all of the streams that are stocked this week by the Department of Natural Resources. And there's a whole laundry list Oh my gosh, Shallow River, Notley River, the Toccoa River, Town Creek, Mountain Town Creek, and on and on and on. And you can find out where the trout have been stocked, and you can take a kid up there with a can of corn, and you can really do some damage. Right now, he's been holding on quite a while. Let's talk to Doug. He's calling from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Good morning, Doug. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning, O'Neill. How you doing this morning?
Good. Thanks for holding on so long.
Certainly. Well, first of all, we appreciate the tremendous work you do, and ask keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Certainly. Wanted to tell you about a fishing trip I took with my boys. My dad wanted to take me to Alaska or Canada. We never got around to it. So
Okay.
before I was too old, I wanted to take my two boys, 32 and 23, to Alaska. 4 days, 4 nights for a tremendous trip. We caught close to 100 fish, a grayling, lake and rainbow trout, king salmon, chum, dollies. It was an incredible trip. It
I
really
should
was.
say it was. My goodness.
Yeah, we able to bring back the salmon. Everything else was catch and release. The rainbow trout we caught were around 24, 26 inches long. They were
that's
huge rainbow.
What about the salmon?
Salmon, we about 2 to 3 feet. We were early in the season. It was the end of June, and
Okay.
so it was early in the run. So there weren't a lot of salmon, but we still caught our limit. We were allowed to keep 2. Everything else was catch and release, of course. But we flew out every day on bush planes, and the guides were tremendous. We floated down several streams there. The guides were fantastic. They could see how many fish there were in the streams from 500 feet in the air, and they said, not many there. Let's go to blah, blah, blah. We turned, fly another 15 minutes and land, and we saw bear and caribou, moose and bald eagles. It was just an incredible trip.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. What a memory. I hope you took a lot of photos.
Oh, yeah, it's a ton of them. Yes, sir, we sure did.
Well, that's great. Now, that's a trip that's tough to take every year, but now you've got that memory for the rest of your life. That's wonderful.
That's right. I'm a school teacher, and I, don't have a lot of money, but I saved up for this one, and I wanted to make it a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and the good Lord blessed us, and it was a tremendous experience.
Fabulous. At my website at O'Neill Outside, now this is a different deal now, but on my website, at the bottom of the page of the homepage, next June, we are going to Alaska, a group.
Yes. I've heard you say
but
that before. I'm a regular listener of yours.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's a cruise, okay?
Yes.
But we're not out in the ocean. We're on the Lynn Canal, and it's the best cruise I've ever taken. I've done it a couple of times, and we have some space left for balcony rooms for the Alaska cruise. I wish you could go.
I may look into that, sir. I may look into that.
Good deal. Well,
Yeah.
you reported a fabulous fishing trip, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, and thank you again for all the great work you do, O'Neill. We all really appreciate you.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate the compliments.
Have a great day.
You bet. Stay in touch, okay?
Will do. Thank you.
All right, mighty fine. Now we need to go now to Danny. He's calling from Lithia Springs, Georgia. You're on the air, Danny. What do you say?
Hey, good morning, O'Neill. How are you?
Good.
Good. I just want to tell you about I went on a trip up through Pennsylvania about 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And went up there. I was looking at all them pretty Amish farms, out there, right out of Lancaster. And in a place called Ronks, Pennsylvania, there's a little old shoe store, Leacock shoe store.
Uh-huh.
And I was in there, and I bought a gospel CD, and it was a blind gentleman that owns it or runs it, and we got to talking. He found out I was from Georgia, and he said, "Oh, I listen to O'Neill every Saturday." I just really he was a real fine man, and they're gonna have a big gospel singing up there the 23rd and 24th behind his little old shoe store. He was telling me about that. I wished I could go, but that's a long way.
People, unless you travel it, Pennsylvania is a beautiful state. Western Pennsylvania.
You ain't kidding. I went the old road down the old Lincoln Highway, and we just come across that where that Flight 93 crashed in Statesville, I believe it.
Yes, that's correct.
If you don't jerk a tear there, you just ain't got a heart. Have you been to that memorial they built?
No, I was close by, but the time just would not permit. But we
I
are
tell
going.
you-
We are going back.
You've got to want to go there because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's a beautiful drive through the Alleghenies there on that. I forget what number it is, 30-something, Highway 30. But anyway, I wanted to go to Gettysburg because I'd never been to Gettysburg, and I was going through there.
That was a treat, wasn't it?
Oh my goodness! I had no idea.
We did
how
that.
big that was. You did that this last
Yes.
week while you were gone?
Yes.
Oh, darn. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
going to
wasn't that
talk about it
something?
further. I think one of our Saturday mornings, I'm going to encourage other people to go and give
Yeah,
some numbers, if you will, to what happened at Gettysburg.
Yeah, that was eye opening for sure there. And but anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to that fella. I think his name was Bill. I bought a George Jones gospel CD from him, and it's a good one.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah, and he really liked you. He said, I want to talk to him, but I got to do it on the computer, and if I mess one word up, I got to start all over.
Oh,
and
boy.
all this, something or other. Yeah, we're heading up to Lake Hartwell right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah, my mama was a Williams. I wonder if we could be some branch kin back there somewhere.
There's lots of them.
Yeah, they was prolific, wasn't it?
Lots of them, for sure.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you taking my call, and I sure do like listening to you.
You stay in touch, okay? And have a good, safe trip this weekend.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You bet. See you soon. There we go.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
let's talk to Mac. He's on line number 3 and waiting to chat about the fishing report. Good morning, Mac.
Good morning, O'Neill. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. You fishing today, sir?
I'm away right now.
Ah, good for you.
Yes, sir. We're rolling. Gonna go get them. So fishing's been good, man. It's been.
Oh yeah, how
been
so?
high
Now,
now.
well, what would you tell somebody here in August about striper fishing on Lanier?
Well, I tell them if they're not going there messing up, because a lot of times it's one of our best months. And of course, everybody says, "Well, it's too hot; they won't bite." And you and I have had this conversation before, but I'll reply to that person, well, tell me why you can't catch them. And I say, well, it's too hot. And I said, okay, now tell me why you can't catch them. Nobody's been able to answer that question for me in 30 years. We got to eat, right? I tell people all the time, I tell you what, next year, July 4th, stop eating, start back in Labor Day, see how it works out for you. It won't. So what the difference is, everybody's deep, and it's a combination of things, but a striper's a pretty sensitive fish as far as oxygen levels. When it gets hot water holds poor levels of dissolved oxygen. Deeper you get, cooler it gets, better air. They're just deep. If they're ganged up, this hot water also creates poor oxygen levels in the upper reaches of the lakes and back in the creek. So it pulls all the fish out to the middle of the lake, out to the river and creek channels. It gangs them up. You still got to find them. When you do find them, though, they'll bite. And this is really a good time of year. If you're not fishing, you're messing up.
You betcha. I agree 100%.
The patterns here, and this is going to apply to all our lakes around the southeast. Live bait on the down line, trolling jigs and spoons on lead core. If you've got a downrigger, that's a really, really excellent tool this time of year. And just start riding the creek channels, troll the creek channels till you see them. Once you find them deep, drop your live baits and your power reeling, and it's game on usually.
I want to tell everybody that's listening to the program that hadn't been with, and then I got to go, but if you want to learn about striper fishing in major reservoirs across the country, hire Captain Mac Farr and have a class that will last a day, and you will learn about how to catch stripers. How about that?
Absolutely, and that's what we will try and do is get you. And I get a lot of folks, they've got a boat, they want to get up to speed. And I love to get people in the boat that are trying to elevate their level, and I love that. So we'll get them out there and try and get you up to speed. Absolutely.
You bet. Look it up, CaptainMac.com. "25 after the hour, this is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, 4 to 6 a.m. Saturdays at 95.5 WSB nationwide and the SB Nation Radio Network. Now let's chat with Steve. He's calling on O'Neill. Let's see if we can raise him up there properly. Good morning, Steve. You're on the air. This is O'Neill.
Oh, Neil, good morning, sir. You have taken me back to 1957.
Oh, how's that?
Hunting. I still have today a 16-gauge single shot that my grandfather gave me after I broke the stock.
Oh.
Shot a squirrel. He was kind of skimmying down the tree there, and I shot again and totally missed. Well, I'm out of shells.
Okay.
When he got even with me, I turned it around like a baseball bat. I got my squirrel, but I broke the stock. I still have that gun today. That was 62 years ago.
Well, don't fix it. Leave it like it is.
Well, I've already done that. I fixed it. I hand-carved a stock out of a piece of walnut with a glass Coke bottle. But anyway, Travis got married out there in Oklahoma, and I just wonder if he's aware. Oklahoma was the first state to pass a law that when a woman says, I do, she gets half of everything that you got.
He understands that.
When she says, I don't, she gets the other half. So he needs to be aware of that. But anyway, what a great show this morning.
Well, thank you very much. I want to introduce Steve to everybody. This is Steve Scruggs, and he's always on the hunt to teach children about the outdoors. And so what have you got going on now, Steve?
Well, I tell you what, we have the 88-acre outdoor classroom here in Watkinsville, Georgia, and I'll share that with the listeners sometime in the future, but it's a great opportunity. We've already put 1,500 kids through there in 3 years, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to teach kids about hunting and getting outdoors and enjoying nature. My love affair for years has been with snakes. And by the way, I'll be in Macon Bass Pro Shop the 17th and 18th next weekend.
Okay.
2 shows on Saturday and a show on Sunday afternoon. But anything to get these kids outdoors and teach them that nature will never disappoint you. And I love working with the kids, and I do that because my grandfather reached down to me at age 7. He didn't have to, but he did, and I am sure I was no day at the beach at age 7 out in the woods. But he introduced me. And, you talk about squirrel hunting being so entertaining and action and so forth.
Yes.
Let's not forget getting behind a pack of beagles and rabbit hunting.
Oh, boy.
That's how I started, and I'm going to tell you what, put a hook in me and been with me all this time, and I would encourage kids to do that. And that's what we're trying to do at the Hardegree Wildlife Sanctuary, get kids squirrel hunting, get kids rabbit hunting. Then you got them. And you're right about deer hunting. Starting out, it is extremely boring.
Oh, boy.
But rabbits and squirrels, the action is there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Are you finding, Steve, let me ask you this. Are you finding with all of these hundreds and hundreds of children that you're getting them deeply involved in the outdoors? Are they back in touch with you to let you know how they're doing in the outdoors? You understand my question?
Oh, Neil, one of the most rewarding things in the world, we just attended the GON Blast. And a young man that we had in our camp that we were holding at that time out at Rock Eagle, we had a week-long wilderness camp. And I looked at this young man, and we still talk about this today. You love him to death, but you got to look at him and say, gee, will he ever make it? A mom and a dad came by the GON Blast and said, we're bringing our son tomorrow to see you because you had such an impact on his life.
Oh, boy.
He joined the Navy, 4 years in the Navy, cleaned up his act, and this young man came by to see us, and I tell you, I was in tears. I was in tears, and this is what we all as adults need to realize when we have access to these children. You never know what kind of an impact that you're going to have, and I encourage everybody, when you're in the presence of a child and you're introducing them to the outdoors, set the bar as high as you can set it because you can have a very positive impact.
And, that impact, too, Steve, let me comment, that impact lasts and lasts and lasts.
It does.
I write about it in the book I wrote is, you can be the high school quarterback, But the likelihood is when you're 18, that's over.
That's
but
right.
Being a skilled outdoorsman lasts forever. It lasts your lifetime. And it lasts year-round.
I had a dad, if I may comment. I had a
Please.
dad years ago. We had a dad. And he said, you know, my son plays ball, and I get to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But when we hunt together.
It's just the two
And
of
that's
them.
great quality time. And I think a lot of times we miss that. But here's the other thing that I have found. Children are into the electronics today.
Oh, boy.
But when you lay that aside and you really, really, really get them involved in nature, they don't even think about the electronics.
I agree.
At camp this year, our camp right after Father's Day started on Monday. From Monday through Friday, within a 50-yard radius of home base, the pavilion at Hardigree Wildlife Sanctuary, 6 black rat snakes we caught.
Oh, really?
And what an opportunity it was to educate the kids about that. And talking about the snakes, that's what we're going to be doing at Macon Bass Pro Shop next Saturday and Sunday. And
What
a lot
time?
of people in Georgia still don't know it is against the law in Georgia to kill a non-venomous snake.
Yes.
And we need to keep that in mind.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. The rat snakes that we have around the cabin, they're
Yes.
they're good friends of ours.
Oh, absolutely. The greatest mousetrap in the world.
That's right. Now, how can people find Steve Scruggs and what you do?
866-880-9453 or on the web, the Hardigree Wildlife Sanctuary.org.
Okay. Say it.
Give us a call.
Give me that one. Give me that website again.
Hardigree, Hardigree, Wildlife Sanctuary.org. That's our website.
Okay. Good luck to you, pal. And
Thank you, sir.
I
Have
wish
a
I
great
could
day.
be there next week. I can't, but I would tell everybody if you have an opportunity to go see the Snake Show with Steve Scruggs at Bass Pro, and you said Macon, did you not?
Macon, Georgia. Yes, sir.
That's really worth it. Very entertaining and very informative too. To
Very
know those
educational.
things. Oh yes, absolutely. I remember
Have
what
a
you
great
said.
weekend.
I've got to go, but I remember one of the things you said one time, and I'm going to ask you. Okay, ready? What insect can fly but he can't walk?
What insect can fly but he can't walk? I've forgotten what.
Okay, it's a horsefly. I mean a dragonfly. I heard you
dragonfly.
tell that one day in a seminar.
He can't walk, but he can fly.
Right.
Outstanding.
Dragonfly. All right, my good friend, you stay in touch.
Yes, sir. Sure will. Have a
You
good
bet.
one.
You bet. I
Bye.
will do that. There we go. Let's take that thing. Right, 33 after the hour. Let's see. I think we've got time quickly for this. Let's talk about who's been on the air, been waiting the longest. Just a second. Let's talk to Steve. He's talking about deer and squirrel. Uh-oh, did I lose Steve? Oh, well, doggone it. Let's go to somebody else here. Bailey is calling. He's been holding on quite a while. Good morning, Bailey. This is O'Neill. Welcome.
All right. Good morning, O'Neill. How you doing this morning?
Good.
All right. I live in Decatur. That's what they call it up north sometimes when you write letters. They say, oh, you're in Decatur, and I just start laughing.
That's right.
So I having varmint problem, squirrel problem, chipmunk problem, possum problem, and I can't seem to get a hold of it. They're eating up my house.
Oh, it's
They're
going to take
up on the roof.
It's going to take
They're
a
eating
professional.
the lead flashing that is soldered in around the vent pipes.
Mm-hmm.
Eating lead. Lead's poisonous.
Yes.
They got teeth marks on when I go up and work on the roof and clean the gutter. Squirrels, I've hauled off 28 of them in a Havahart trap. No bait on the trip.
That's going to require a professional, sir.
It is.
Yeah. We have someone look after our cabin up here in the mountains because we're covered up also.
Yeah, I just think
Especially
they're real prospering now.
the ones that are the most trouble to us are the flying squirrels because they're so small.
Don't have that, but chipmunks are just...
Oh, boy.
I was out there working in my yard trimming out a tree that had grown too big,
Uh-huh.
and I was standing on the ground, and the ground under my feet collapsed.
Oh, boy.
The chipmunks had ate so many holes. That was Grand Central Station I was standing on.
I believe that.
And I was like, it just shocked me that it was
Oh.
that much. It took me 5-gallon buckets of dirt to fill it back up.
Well, you're gonna have to have a professional visit your house, sir, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, listen, didn't mention this on the call screener, but we also have ducks in our neighborhood.
Ooh, good.
Well, I don't know. We used to not have them.
Well, you
And,
live
know,
in
I
a great
remember you
place. We
telling
need to
me,
go
listen
hunting
to
at
the
your
show.
house.
I listen to the show when I can get up, when I'm not so tired.
Yeah.
That, you know, years ago, maybe not a real long time, but the DNR clipped the wings
Oh,
of
yeah.
a duck, and they couldn't fly south anymore.
Right. That was
And so now
probably
they're living amongst us all year.
that was a goose, probably.
Might have been.
Yeah,
And
Bailey, I
they're
gotta
all
go,
over,
pal.
They fly all over. They leave their little presents all over.
Yeah,
Gotta watch
they
where
do
you
that
step.
like
And
a
so
like a
they
dog.
don't-
Listen, I gotta go, pal. I'm up against a hard break.
Okay.
Thank you for calling, and you call more often. This is O'Neill Medal of Honor tribute when we return. Audie Murphy, Second Lieutenant, Army, France, 1945. At the time of his induction, he was 5'5" tall, and he weighed in 112 pounds. His father had deserted the family of 12 children, and his mother had died. No matter, he eventually commanded Company B, which was attacked by 6 tanks and waves of infantry. Murphy ordered his men to withdraw to prepared positions in the woods, while he remained forward at his command post and continued to give fire directions to the artillery by telephone. Behind him, to his right, one of our tank destroyers received a direct hit and began to burn. Its crew withdrew to the woods. With the enemy tank abreast of his position, Murphy climbed up on the burning tank destroyer, which was in danger of blowing up any moment, and he employed its .50 caliber machine gun against the enemy. He was alone and exposed to German fire from 3 sides, but his deadly fire killed dozens and dozens of Germans and caused their infantry attack to waver. The enemy tanks, losing infantry support, began to fall back. For an hour, the Germans tried every available weapon to eliminate Murphy, but he continued to hold his position and wiped out squad after squad, which were trying to creep up unnoticed on his right flank. The Germans reached as close as 10 yards, only to be mowed down by his fire. He received a leg wound, but ignored it and continued the single-handed fight until his ammunition was exhausted. He then made his way to his company, refused medical attention, and organized the company in a counterattack which forced the Germans to withdraw. In directing his direction of artillery fire wiped out many of the enemy, and he killed or wounded 50 then. However, during all of his actions in World War II, he killed 340 Germans, was wounded 3 times, and awarded 33 medals. He's the most decorated person out of World War II. He died in a plane crash, 1971. 42 after the hour, and that is our tribute to Audie Murphy for today's date, August the 10th. Okay, let's, hey, he's been holding on for an awful long time. He always has something very positive for us, and here's Hank the Yank. What do you say, my good friend?
Well, I'll tell you that Hollywood did a great job on the Audie Murphy story as well, as you know.
Yes.
Great movie. Great movie. So how
Yes.
are you today?
I'm doing fine. I'm tired from all of our trips, but I'm okay. How about you?
Good. I'm going down to the hooch today. I'm going carp fishing.
Ooh, boy,
and,
you have made a real sport out of that, haven't you?
Well, it's you got to like a challenge. If you don't like a challenge, carp fishing isn't for you. 'Cause they are hard to feed, and I mean it. It is really hard to feed those fish. It's like it's not as hard as, well, let me put it to you this way. It's harder than feeding a tarpon on a fly.
Oh boy.
Okay, just to give you an idea. It is it's like permit fishing. It's really hard.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
But it's about as much fun as you're going to have in a saltwater like environment, doing something in fresh water, poling around in the flats of Atlanta. So the carp fishing is still good. It will remain good for at least another month. The hooch striper fishing has really been disappointing this year, I will tell you. Most of our Georgia River striper fishing has been poor this year, except in the upper breaches of the Chestatee River has been fishing fairly well. But the rest of the state, striper fishing on the rivers has been just fair this year. But the trout fishing, believe it or not, has been really good below Buford Dam. And another great opportunity, O'Neill, for guys that hadn't tried this yet, is fishing for shoal bass in the upper reaches above Lanier. That fishing, the guys at Unicoi Outfitters have been just hammering the shoal bass all summer long on poppers, and they're running really reasonable trips up in that Cornelia area and, Cleveland, Cornelia, that part of the hooch below Helen, all the way down through Belton Bridge. They're catching shoalies on poppers all summer long. So that's another really good fishery for the summertime. And as the water continues to get lower and clearer, these fish, the fishing gets actually better. Where most fishing gets tougher, their fishing gets better.
I got to tell you, the shoal bass is one of my favorites.
It's unbelievable. It's like for folks who don't know what that is, for our radio listeners, it is very similar to a smallmouth. It's Georgia's version of a smallmouth bass.
And he's in the Chattahoochee River, and I think he's in the Flint River.
He is. He is in the Flint as well.
And the Okmulgee River.
Yes, that's
most
correct.
of the South. I think the world's record is only about 8 pounds.
Might be. I'm not even sure if it's that big. Is it that big?
I think, but that was caught way down in South Georgia, off of the Apalachicola River. So that's where he came from.
Well, I will tell you this. Our buddies up at Unicoi have been catching fish on poppers this summer that are in just above and just below 5 pounds.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's a fantastic shoal bass.
You bet.
And they're moving those fish. They're moving those fish just about every trip. So that's kind of what's going on. So look, in the spirit, over the next 3 weeks, we are about to fire up our beloved UGA Bulldog season. So in the spirit of college football, for the next 3 weeks when I call, I'm going to leave you on the program with a college football joke.
Okay.
So here's today's joke. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. What does the moon have in common with Clemson University?
I don't know.
They both control the tide.
Oh, you are a sneaky devil. You understand that, don't you?
Well, hey, one last thing, O'Neill, before I let you go, is that one of our the head of the DNR Fish and Wildlife division, Jeff Derniak, who's been there for, God, it's got to be close to 150 years, just retired from the DNR, and he's the guy who stocks our he was in charge of overseeing our trout streams and the striper stockings and all our fisheries here in North Georgia. That's what Jeff's job was. So he is now retired, which is a great for him, sad for the rest of us here in Georgia. However, he has taken a job up at Unicoi Outfitters, working part-time up at their shop in Helen. So anybody who wants to talk fishing, find out more about what was going on with our fisheries management, Jeff is up there, and he's going to be a fantastic addition to the shop at Unicoi.
Absolutely. What a perfect matchup, huh?
Perfect matchup. Just 2 peas in a pod. All right, pal.
Okay, I can't wait for the next joke.
Next weekend, I'll hit you with a second.
Mighty fine.
Bye.
See you later, my good friend. There we go. Now let's. I think he's been holding on quite a while. Do we still have Clayton on the line, gentlemen? All right. Good morning, Clayton. This is O'Neill. You're on the air. I think. Let's see if we've got Clayton on from Gainesville.
Hello.
Good morning, Clayton.
Good morning.
There you are.
I got some dove questions.
Okay, go.
I got a grandson, 23-year-old, just got out of college, and he has got him a German wire hair, which is about 5 months old. Are many people using dogs to retrieve doves on dove hunts now?
Not that I know of, but it wouldn't. A really smart dog like that, it wouldn't be difficult.
That dog can cover 8 acres in less than 40 seconds. I mean, he moves. Anyway, we've got him to bring him back a bird, but how do you get a dog to release a bird?
Well, that's kind of tough. Give him a chance a few times with a few a substitute, if you will. If he brings back a bird, give him a treat. You follow?
Gotcha.
Something in your hand, something that's tasty, something that he realizes a prize when he returns that bird to you and puts it in your hand.
Okay, that's good. Well, when is dove season this year? Do you know?
Well, it's a September deal. I know it's right around the corner. I had a call a few minutes ago about dove hunting and how to prepare for it.
It usually opens on the opening day of Georgia football.
Yeah, that's right. Opening day of dove season and so forth, what you have to do to make the most of it. My recommendations are, the first one is make sure wherever it is you're going is legal.
Right, okay.
We're
looking at DNR hunt up in Lumpkin County and White County, and over at Dawson Forest they're going to have one. Anyway, are they fields that somebody has just harvested?
I don't know. That's going to vary completely, but if there's some people who are advertising or showing off some places for you to hunt, you better know the rules so that when you get there, that the DNR officer's not going to show up and end up costing you money.
I've seen that.
Yeah, that happens a lot, The second thing, my recommendation is to be sure and practice. You need some practice with those rounds, and because if there's plenty of birds, then so be it. I don't hunt doves till later in the season. It's too hot.
Yeah, I agree. But he's anxious, and I got to keep him going.
Well, absolutely. You stick with him, then. You really do. You stick with him.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'll look under the DNR regulations and see when the hunts are.
Okay.
And we're trying to get on one up in White County in December. Is one we're going to try, but it's a quota hunt.
Yeah.
Okay. You've been very helpful. This dog training, I've done dog training, but not for retrievers. And releasing that bird is he just don't want to do it.
I understand.
You never want to shock a dog with a bird in his mouth.
Oh, yeah, I know it. Well, that would be my suggestion, but I'm sure there's lots of other places to get information. But he needs to be rewarded.
Right.
For handing off that bird.
Well, I've handled a lot of dogs, and this dog is the most curious. He is into one thing right after another. I have never in my life, and he's fast. I mean, you don't know where he's going to be next.
Oh, high energy. High energy.
Well, he goes with his nose on the ground, so that's good.
You bet.
You take care.
You bet. Glad you called, my friend. There you go. Good. That's a good call, sir. Absolutely. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside. So, we've had some wonderful recommendations today about children, and we have some terrific seasons coming up. The children are back in school, but that doesn't mean they can't go fishing on the weekends. Steve Scruggs called about his camp at Hardegree Wildlife Management Area, whatever it's called there, Hardegree. The Snake Show next week at Bass Pro Shop. There's so many ways that you can involve children in the outdoors, and it lasts forever and ever and ever. Other high school sports become memories. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside. We have more headed your way right after this. Well, it's been another exciting morning. I appreciate you joining us on the program. We're talking about O'Neill Outside, Realtree Radio, brought to you by CVA. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to call. Your contributions into the program, your recommendations, your questions, your input is most valuable. A couple of more shameful promotions. If you could visit o'neilloutside.com, o'neilloutside.com, then you will be able to entertain the prospect of purchasing O'Neill. It's right now. I'll show it to you on Facebook. You've been on Facebook all morning. I haven't mentioned it. It's O'Neill Outside, People and Places Along the Way. It's my first book. The second one's almost done, and we'll have that on the website also at o'neilloutside.com. The guest book, where you can leave your comments, your questions, your evaluations, and if we use your question on the air and designate it as such, then we'll send you an autographed copy of O'Neill Outside, People and Places Along the Way. We've been on Facebook, of course, every morning, and you can watch the show on the Hunt Channel, YouTube, Waypoint TV, oh my goodness, Gen 7 Outdoors, on and on and on. That is the future of outdoor television. You can watch it anytime you like, including YouTube. And you can watch it there, and I'll have a list of stations. You can watch the show anytime, all the time, and we appreciate your involvement. So, there you are, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Write that down so that if you're in the truck, car, on the way to the woods, on the way to the lake, the pond, the stream, the campsite, you can watch, you can call the program, and you and I can talk about outdoors, one of my favorite subjects. So we'll leave you with a lengthy exit of Georgia with Ray Charles. This is O'Neill, and we'll catch you guys next Saturday.
Just an old sweet song.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio.